Welcome back, everybody. Today we are going to find out the difference between American girls and European girls. How do they compare? Are they any different? 1 million people wanted to know, and I want to know, what is the difference? I would say American girls are more superficial. That's the easiest. But what else? They have more fake boobs, probably. And are not as smart. Ha ha ha. Is that discriminatory? No, I'm not generalizing. I'm just taking averages, okay? But I mean, that doesn't count only for girls, right? Also for boys. So, just to make that clear.
Separated by the Atlantic Ocean, American women aren't much different from their European cousins. But it's almost impossible to compare women from all across Europe, as the continent covers
Exactly.
a real range of nationalities, cultures, and ethnicities.
So
be
different.
warned that this show may make some broad generalizations, which we hope you'll excuse. What we're attempting to do today is compare European and American women. What makes them tick? How do they behave? And what are the similarities and differences between them? That's what we'll try to find out in today's infographic show, as we look at American girls versus European girls. Before breaking down the differences between the sexes, let's take a look at the general similarities and differences between Americans and Europeans. As we all probably know, Europeans and Americans share a whole bunch of similarities, owing to ancestral lineage and cultural similarities. They both have a broad commitment to democratic principles and share economic alliances. Both continents enjoy reasonably high standards of living and are considered developed by the rest of the world. There are some differences when it comes to religious quirks, free expression, sense of entitlement, and the morality concept.
Sense of
Americans believe
entitlement.
that they are generally in control of their destiny, whereas the rest of the world, except the UK, accept that powers outside of their control are dependent upon their success. Americans are generally more independent and ambitious. In a 2014 Pew survey, 57% of Americans believe their success is in their own hands. Yet Americans, at just over half the population, see religion as more important than their European cousins do. In France, only 14% of people consider religion important, compared with 53% in the USA.
Wow, 53%. That's a theocracy. That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, religion is dead in Europe, yeah. Churches are mostly used for, like, as tourist attractions, or sometimes, like, grannies, they go there every Sunday. But that's it. In the UK, in London, they converted all the churches into whatever, hotels, bars, everything, even clubs.
World statistics show that there is a strong link between people's religiosity and their wealth. Religion is generally more important to countries with lower GDPs. Almost 40% of Americans feel that sex between unmarried couples is immoral, whereas in the EU it is less of an issue. So are
What? 40%? How do you get laid, guys?
American women more prudish? Well, it depends on who you talk to and where you are. Many American women are the complete opposite of prudes, being independent and fun-loving in multiple situations. So with all of these observations, please note that they are just that, observations and not rules. So let's take a look at some of the differences. Both America and Europe are big places, and while it's easy to generalize about people and places, it's also fair to say that American women have more in common with American women, and the same is true for European women with European women. The only real oddity in Europe is the UK, where women seem to behave more like Americans rather than their European cousins. But in general, there are some uniform
Really?
similarities that separate Europeans from Americans in terms of attitude and behavior. When it comes to looks, women are more uniform. In Rome or Barcelona, women normally wear a skirt of similar length, a pair of reasonably high heels, a blouse or top, and long beautiful hair. In America and in London, however, women come in many different styles. Thin women, overweight women, women in goth or emo garb with black eyeliner and dyed hair. Americans seem to adopt the counterculture more readily, whereas European women tend to adopt a more traditionally feminine style.
Is that true? More traditional feminine style? I mean, in the villages, for sure, but in the big cities? But yeah, in towns that are like smaller than 500,000 people, it is probably true that it's more traditional.
It's not unusual to see a girl with a mohawk and a skateboard on the New York subway or the London Underground, whereas this would be considered unusual in, say, Budapest. While Americans dress for comfort, European women are conscious of class and fashion, even if they're simply walking to the store or going to the gym. Europeans dress for style, and unless they are on the beach, most European women wouldn't consider wearing flip-flops or thongs. Unless they are participating in sports or working out, sneakers are not normally worn by Europeans. European women tend to wear flats.
No, sneakers are very common. It's like the most common shoe.
With
Come on.
closed or open toes or high heels in most everyday situations. However, unlike most rules, there are exceptions.
To be honest, I live in Berlin and none of this is applicable to Berlin anyhow. Like, in Berlin, nobody is wearing high heels. Come on. But in other cities, I don't know. I don't even know, guys.
Heels in most everyday situations. However, unlike most rules, there are exceptions. For social gatherings, American women will dress just as smart as their European counterparts and often outstyle them. Women in Europe are generally more
Outstyle
educated than in America. University education is more affordable in Europe, with many countries having free college programs. This doesn't
Told
mean
ya.
that European women are any more intelligent than American women, but they generally have the opportunity to learn more in Europe. Most European women speak at least 2 languages and sometimes as many as 5 or 6. Europeans generally have a good understanding of history and geography outside of their own countries, and most Europeans have traveled to other countries before they reach their teenage years. Separated from the world by 2 oceans, many Americans never leave their country of birth. Bizarrely, and despite their lack of
Crazy.
travel, American women are often more independent than European women. In social situations, American women tend to be more outgoing and curious, making them more fun at parties and social gatherings. Americans have a
Making
sense of
them more
adventure
fun.
and liberty unmatched by women from other nations. In the States, a second or third marriage isn't uncommon, but looking at divorce statistics from 2014, Belgium, Spain, Portugal, Luxembourg, the Czech Republic, and Hungary all had worse divorce rates than the US. In general, American women and European women get
It's
divorced
the
at
same
similar
everywhere.
rates. European women are on average better looking than American women, according to some independent observers. America has problems with obesity
Who are these independent observers? I want to know.
among the young. This is not as much a problem in Europe at present. Of course, our perception of what is beautiful is a personal choice, but taking into account what seems to be the movie star and magazine standard, Europe trumps America. Riding the tram in Amsterdam, the average commuter might be surrounded by slim and attractive women. In Eastern Europe, the
Yeah, what else? Guys.
Balkans and former Soviet satellite countries, it's possible to wander around for a while without encountering an overweight, unattractive female. European women are usually approachable, knowing that conversation between a male and a female is not
Are you trying to say that it's not possible to walk around in the US and not see a fat, unattractive woman? That's literally what he just said. Let's watch this
might
again.
be surrounded by slim and attractive women. In Eastern Europe, the Balkans, and former Soviet satellite countries, it's possible to wander around for a while
It's
without
possible.
encountering an overweight, unattractive female. European women are usually approachable, knowing that conversation
So it's not possible in the States. Wow.
between a male and a female is not a potential sexual advance. American women are often more wary of advances from strangers. European women often feel that being seduced is an appealing validation of their sexual attractiveness and fertility rather than a
Interesting.
violation of their rights. A European woman will normally tell you straight up if they're interested in dating and won't subscribe to what is termed flaky behavior. When it comes to dating and hanging out, an American girl might be flirtatious and open about her feelings. Americans like to call things as they see them. Europeans, on the other hand, may be more reserved and mysterious about their feelings. A guy dating a European woman may have to rely on his spider senses to unlock the mysterious puzzle that's in her mind. As we mentioned above, these generalizations
I would actually say it's the opposite, that people in Europe will say what they feel, yeah, and that in the US you have to like guess because it's so superficial, everything. In my experience, it is very weird to organize something with Americans because you say like, oh yeah, you want to hang out and let's do this together, blah, blah, blah. And then they forget about it the next second because it's just, yeah, it's like superficial talk. Yeah, let's do something together. But if a European says that, he means it, and he will ask later. And the American like forgets about this the next second. That's at least my experience.
Cannot be proven by science. So we need your input to keep the discussion moving. So join in the discussion. What do you think about American and European?
I did join in the discussion. I told you all about it. What do you guys think? Was he right about everything? Have you ever dated a European if you're American, and vice versa? Thanks Infographic Show for the attempt to explain the differences. You got most of the things right. Not all of them, obviously. But hey, it was a great video, great animation. And I appreciate it. It was fun watching it. And if you enjoyed this video as well, go subscribe to Infographic Show. Here, I will subscribe as well. Because they deserve it. And you guys, sleep well. I'm going to bed. See you tomorrow.